What's up guys, Phil Ortiz here, and today I'm going to talk about why I purchased the Zcam S6. So we all know that feeling when you want to get a new camera and you go down this rabbit hole of all the research and you got to know about all the cameras and all the crazy things, and you just dwell forever until you finally get your camera. And that probably went on for about a year for me until I finally decided I was going to pull the trigger and get the Zcam S6, and let me tell you, best decision I've made. Some of the reasons why I wanted to upgrade was I wanted a dedicated video camera. I have two Sony A7iiis that I will continue to be using for weddings and YouTube videos and all sorts of things. Right now I'm recording on the Zcam because I wanted to, give you guys an idea of what the quality looks like and what the colors can do. I wanted a dedicated video setup. Having a hybrid camera that can shoot both photo and video very well, might I add, is really nice to have. The problem is when you need to disassemble everything or assemble everything to do one job or the other. So I have a cage for my Sony A7iii, so when I'm shooting video, I build out my rig for that and I put it all together and it's great. The problem is when I need to go use it for photos and then I have to disassemble it or whatever it might be, and it's just a whole nother thing that I have to mentally prepare for. And I know some of you guys are like, well, what happens? Why don't you just use the other camera that's not in the cage? Sometimes you need both. So it'd just be nice to just have a dedicated video camera. One of the biggest things for me buying a new camera was making sure that it was future-proof. I wanted something that had a 6K sensor. Not that I'm necessarily always going to be shooting on 6K, but it's there. I have it. I can shoot in 4K and I can shoot in 1080. They all look great. I wanted something that could do 10-bit color, and it was a bonus if I could get 12-bit RAW. And the Zcam S6 just checked all those boxes for me. The other thing that was really important was how I can build out the rig and what things were going to make my life easier. And we'll get into everything that I purchased for this rig because there's quite a bit that went into it, and there's more that I still plan on getting, but I'm super excited and super happy with what I have so far. So I know I mentioned color a little bit, and I know this has been a big question. I see a lot of people have asked, like, is it just 10-bit? What does it offer? And H.264 offers 8-bit. You can only shoot 8-bit in H.264. H.265 and ProRes, which is all internal, that's all 10-bit, and then Z-RAW is 12-bit internal. And now with the Ninja 5 come June, we'll be able to do ProRes RAW in 12-bit through, I already said, the Ninja 5. One of my favorite things about this camera was the form factor. It's really small.
That's what she said!
I had looked at purchasing potentially Blackmagic Ursa Mini G2, and there's nothing mini about that camera whatsoever. The thing is massive.
That's what she said?
I looked into buying the Panasonic EVA 1, which is smaller than the Ursa Mini G2, but not as small as the Zcam. I wanted something nice and compact. I looked at the C200, it's about the same size as the EVA 1. The closest thing that came to this was the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. I just don't like the way it's built at all. It looks weird. I can't get behind it. To my surprise, when this camera came in the box, I popped it open and it was way smaller than I expected. It was smaller. I compared it to like a Kleenex box, and it was smaller than the Kleenex box. It just surprised me that there was so much that this camera offers in such a small, light package. I think the camera on its own, the brain alone, is about 2 pounds, and the body is made of full metal. With this camera, you can get 6K up to 60 frames, 4K up to 100 frames. With the new firmware update, 2.8K up to 120 frames, and you can do 1080 and 120 frames as well. So there were some really cool options there for me for high frame rates, for slow motion. Some people have asked why I didn't go with the original E2 because it has really high frame rates, and I just don't use them that much. Most of the time at weddings, even with my Sony A7iii, I would shoot 60 frames. I didn't care about having 120 frames. I felt like 60 frames was just enough, but now I have the option to shoot, 4K 100, 2.8K 120, still have great resolutions and higher frame rates for whatever reason I might feel like I need them. So some things that I'm excited about getting are the END filter, which is like this, it's a small electronic ND filter that slips right into the side of the EF mount, and then you can control that from the camera. So that'll be nice, then I don't want to have to carry around extra baggage with NDs in them. I'm excited that there will soon be an E-mount. I know there's a third-party company making the E-mount for the Zcam, so that's really exciting because I have a ton of Sony glass that I would love to throw on this camera and be able to, you know, experiment around, have options with. So the lens I'm using right now is the Sigma 18-35 1.8 Art series. I love this lens. I know everybody and their mother has this lens. And if your moms don't have this lens, get it for her. She'll like it. So with everything that I've talked about that I like with this camera, there are a couple, I don't want to call them bad things, but maybe some minor inconveniences. One of the biggest inconveniences is the Z-RAW support. Right now, there's a plugin being developed for Premiere Pro. I'm not sure if there's anything for anything else. Being a DaVinci Resolve user, I know I can't use Z-RAW natively within the NLE. Will they ever come out with something? I don't know, but right now you can download the Z-RAW video suite and you can go ahead and convert the Z-RAW files down to ProRes and then bring it over into DaVinci. It's cumbersome, but you know, it's fine. I can live with it. And again, this camera, the flagship cameras, have only been out for maybe a year and a half at this point, so who knows what's going to be coming. I remember when I first started looking into Zcam, there was zero support for Z-RAW at the time, so the fact that Premiere Pro is getting a plugin to use for it, I think that's fantastic. So maybe there's hope in the future, but some people say no. I like to think on the positive side, so we'll see. The other side of it is building it out, which isn't necessarily an inconvenience or a bad thing. It just gets expensive. Like, it's a small camera, it doesn't have any handles or anything on it when it's just broken down by itself. I mean, can you like hold it awkwardly and, you know, move your lens? Yes, but realistically, you're gonna wanna put this in a cage to protect it and to be able to build it out the way that you want. With that being said, we will go through my rig and the different kind of setups that I have for it, so you can see it from its bare minimum of what I would use all the way to it being maxed out with everything that I bought so far, just so you can get an idea. So the last thing to talk about is for anyone that's considering buying a cinema camera. And the biggest thing is you really can't go wrong with any camera that you're buying that's on the market right now. Especially cameras that have come out in the last few years. I remember when I bought my first camera, which was the Canon 80D about 2.5 years ago, and just the amount that cameras have grown from then to now is like night and day, and everything that these cameras offer have just been amazing. I think it's great that Zcam took the initiative to pack so much into a camera and give consumers what they want as much as they possibly could within a reasonable price range, because they're kind of like the market disruptors when it comes to getting the best bang for your buck, and I couldn't appreciate them more. The other things to think about is weight. How you're gonna have to carry these cameras around, so how much weight are you willing to lug around? And I know some people like their rigs built out to like 30 pounds, which I think is fantastic. It's not for me. I don't want to deal with it. So I got something as light as I possibly could. And last, what are you going to use it for? If you are using it for vlogging, I don't recommend getting a camera like this, because again, there's no autofocus, there's no flip out screens, there's none of that. Like, this is just a little brick that you're getting and that's it. It's not meant for that. But if you're someone who wants to shoot high quality wedding videos, commercial projects, music videos, interviews, short films, anything like that, like this is a perfect camera for that. So it really breaks down to what do you need for the jobs that you're doing or for your hobbies and passions that you're doing. The last thing is check out Zcam's Facebook group. The user group on there has been absolutely just a huge wealth of information that anything you want to know about this camera is on there. My biggest recommendations are use the search bar and just type in the keywords that you're looking for, whether it's frame rates or resolution or whatever it is, and there are, like, you will find the answers in there. And if you don't find the answers in there, simply just post up like, hey, does the camera do X, Y, and Z? And you'll actually be surprised at how active the group is and how friendly the community is. For even a further dive into information, if you just want to get as much as you can all at once without searching, check out, search Peter Van Loo. He went ahead and made this entire user guide for all of us that breaks down everything that this camera does, and people from the community have been helping him to get all the information put in there, and it's been really nice to have. I can't tell you how many times I've referred to it because I'm like, I can't remember if this camera can do X, Y, and Z, and I can go there and look, and it's there. And the other great thing about this company is the customer service. The executive team for Zcam is so involved in this Facebook group. It's unbelievable. They're extremely friendly. They reach out. They give you, the answer that you're looking for if you need it. They can't always get to what you're looking for, and they might not always be able to fix your problem, but I've seen plenty of people make requests of, is this something that we can add in a future firmware update or not? And you'll see Kinson, who is the CEO, he'll hop on, and tag his engineers to figure out if this is something that we can work on and get in like the next development stage of this camera. So again, I love my Zcam. I think it's a fantastic camera. And if you are interested in purchasing one or interested in learning more about them, because I know this wasn't a super technical, in-depth review about it, it was just my thoughts and why I love it, definitely check out the Facebook group. There's so much to be learned about these cameras and what they can do, and you will not be disappointed. So with that said, if you liked what you saw today, hit the like button, comment below, please subscribe, it helps me out a ton, as this is a new YouTube channel, and I'm just curious to see like if people are liking my content or not. So I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.